Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. Andrew here, and this is like my third or fourth week in a row going live. Right now I'm going live once a week on Thursdays, sometime in the afternoon. Once again, I want to come up with a regular time that works for everyone, including myself. I'm thinking late night might actually be good, like 9 to midnight on Thursday nights. But let me know in the comments. There's probably nobody here yet, so I am just going to hop into Logic. I'm going to be making a beat from scratch. If you don't catch this live, or even if you are watching live and you have to leave, come back to the channel. These all get preserved in the future, and when I'm done filming, I go through and I timestamp everything so that you can hop through what I did a lot faster. And today it's going to be another making it from scratch. I have a bunch of random samples loaded from Splice, and I'm just going to try to get creative, and perhaps it will be something cool, and perhaps it will be something really not cool. That is something that we kind of have to accept when we get creative. We've got to be willing to make things that don't sound good at the chance that we make things that do sound good. And also, sounding good is quite a subjective thing. We could talk about that for a long time, but so many people have different tastes in music. You could think of like the main camps of music listeners, like people that love live musicians, like bands. They typically don't like dance music or the DJ, big room house type stuff. And those two fans don't necessarily like all of hip hop or rap music. And as streaming develops, it's like it's a really exciting time to be a music consumer or a music maker, because the access that we have to people that enjoy similar stuff to us is just growing like all the time. Pretty wild. So let's go ahead into this session. I'm going to show you some of the samples that I have recorded. Let's make sure we're live. We are good. All right, so I have a drum sample. This is something, once again, if you're not a Splice subscriber, highly recommend checking it out. I slept on Splice, did not use it, had many students and people I was working for have Splice, and so I saw it, but I'm still hesitant, but it's kind of replaced my whole sample library of the past. So here's a drum sample. Super cool vibe by The Count with a K. That originally was at 81 beats per minute. I have this session set up at 92, so I've already flexed that. This next one is a Atmosphere from PLX. This was originally 138. I slowed it down a ton to be at 92. Let's hear this in its entirety. So I think that that is already pretty cool samples. So just on a side note, in order to do this, if you're a Logic Pro user, you're going to have to enable advanced functions. So you want to go into Logic Properties, the tab that's Advanced Functions, and you can click the box that says Enable All. On a side note, make sure that you have audio saved somewhere else. Like if you're working on your band's recording, you don't want to start doing destructive editing. Destructive editing refers to anything like this, where we're actually changing the audio file that sits on the computer. In the case of Splice, it doesn't matter because all that stuff is in the Splice library. Cool. And then the final thing I grabbed was this. All right, so first of all, I'm going to show you that flex. So if you have an advanced functions enabled, hold down Option, and we can drag this to 4 full measures. Now, most samples that you get from Splice are going to come in 4 measure, 1 measure, 2 measure, 8 measure. They're very good to cut the audio right in time so that you can do this kind of stuff without really checking it with the ear. So this is now, it should be at 92. Cool. So then I'm going to address the pitch thing. So I could play some of these together already. Like if I play the G minor atmosphere with this drum sample. I already did this before going live. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds like this. Cool. So let's say we want to keep it at G minor. So if I bring up just piano roll so that we can reference our keys, one of our samples is at E, this note, and one of our samples is at G, that note. If I take the E and I move it up, that would be 1, 2, 3 semitones. I feel like it would be kind of cooler to move it down. It is going to sound less like the original and more like a synthesized instrument, but that could actually be really cool. So if I take the E down, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 semitones down. And semitone is a fancy way of saying a single key on the piano. So black keys and white keys are both counted when we're counting semitones. So down 9. So if I pull up Sound Toys' Little Altar Boy, I've used this many times in these videos. It's a really, really cool plugin. If I go down 9 and we listen to this. Should work in key. All right, so some of that sounds good, but it sounds really dirty. So let's go ahead into the EQ and solo out that instrument and see kind of what's going on. So we get a lot of artifacts. That's kind of the stuff that's a little abrasive sounding on that. So we can sample it. We got all sorts of options. Let's start writing to this. I'm gonna bring up the default instrument, just easier on the computer. Now the first thing I like to do anytime I'm gonna use a pitched sample like this is I try to convert the sample into MIDI. Not necessarily like every note, but I kind of want to know the chord progression that's happening so that I could then double it up. So it tells me it's in G minor, so if I assume, which isn't always going to be correct, it starts on the 1, would be this. Sounds like that keeps going. Sounds like it stays on the 1. The sound really evolves in these 2 measures. And then we go to what might be a major 6. So that's an E flat major. Measures, and then we get a major 7, I think, so an F major chord. hold it. So I kind of like displacing every other. Come in on the second eighth note. It's going to kind of match it, the kick drum of the drums we're working with. Now we'll leave this one the same, but that's because it's going to kind of So the internet is such a crazy place. It allows us to connect virtually, like the entire planet is plugged into the internet these days. And I put out a couple instrumentals yesterday on my BeatStars. My BeatStars is very new. I haven't put in many instrumentals that way. I just thought it would be kind of a cool place to throw instrumentals that I think someone might use, but not everyone. And this group from New Zealand reached out to me called the OTT Boys. OTTboys.nz on Instagram, and we're gonna work on a collaboration. But they just wrote me a DM, and I told them about the live, so maybe they'll swing through, say what's up. So let's hear that one more some other instruments loaded up. Hopefully my computer will handle this. We're going to try using Arturia's DX7. Let's see, here we go. Arturia, truly beautiful stuff. All the stuff they make looks super cool. So I'm going to try to save this. All right. Making it from scratch, 28. It's crazy. I'm on number 28. I only do these once a week, and that, if my math is correct, is more than half a year of doing these, which is just insane. I didn't want to get rid of that. So I'm going to drag this MIDI down, and let's just try to audition like a pad. So pad, let's go with Botanic Garden. Let's excuse me, let's start building an arpeggio pattern. So since our chord progression is really only happening every 8 measures, I could have this repeat. So to make it a little bit less abrasive on our ears, this is a default SERUM patch. So I'm going to take it and just make it more pluck-like, since ultimately that's what I'm going to want. On envelope mode. time before I start playing with it. So part of the reason that sounds really, really terrible is that it's not an interesting sound. So let's make it more interesting. So with these spaced out plucks, a really cool technique that I really enjoy is like using an additional LFO to bring back sounds. So that kind of gives it that the end of the attack. And then I'm going to do that with kind of a delay as well. Let's see here. Let's put on an 8th note delay, ping pong. Let's try that same. Compress it all. Let's hear what that sounds like. Filtering that a bunch. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bounce it in place. That way I don't have to keep that little altar boy on. I'm then going to sample this. So I'm going to take that ending. Cool, and then I'll duplicate this. Could perhaps try a little loop there. Why do these bots, these adult bots, always find their way to my live streams? I need a moderator. Let's see here. Port. Thank you for bearing with me. This is one of my friends just trolling me. That would be kind of funny, but annoying. So don't want that. All right. Continue that one on the downbeat. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to take this, say a prayer for the computer. Session is getting more intense. And I'm going to use this filter M12. Oh, just as I said it, it crashed. Let's reopen it. Auto saved. All right, here we are. And I'm not going to use the filter in that case. So instead, let's use LFO tool. And I'm going to want to make it kind of stutter from LFO tool. So I'm going to go like this. Let's go with 8th note, smooth it out. Let's filter out the lows from it. Nice. Let's compress it using Logic built-in stuff to make it easier on the top. That into our auto saved. All right, I'm going to save the project. So let's arrange this a little bit. Let's see what the Cool. So let's arrange this. Let's start with. SERUM didn't save our patch. All right, so make it, let's see here, envelope. Got a cool world trap feel. I like it. Again, a lot of these beats that I've made on just making it from scratch, it's been an exercise in my own self-confidence and also trying to be creative while people can watch me. It's kind of weird for the head, kind of pretend that nobody's there. And not always will I make something that I like, but sometimes you have to just follow your ideas and see where they lead you. I don't think it was the lead. I was thinking it was. So the one thing this is really missing is a bass. Now, let's see. No way to know other than to try it. So, cool. Perhaps it's from loading it already. So I'm going to go with the bass. Let's go with basser. Change the preset. All right, now I like to program bass. Sometimes I'll do it like with the whole instrumental, but for now I'm going to try to program it with just the drums, knowing that the bass line's going to use a lot of G. Shout out to a super talented producer on Instagram. He goes by Kaba1. We've been working on some beats together. Got a lot of credits under his belt. I don't know the name of the artist. He sent me an unreleased track they're working on that has just such a sick analog bass feel. And I'm not doing the same patterns or anything. I was just kind of like motivated by hearing that really like analog-y synth bass. Don't hear it too much in this style. So friends are a great source of inspiration. So let's hear it. Right here. So kind of a strange structure, but kind of a strange track. I think it's got a unique vibe to it. I'm definitely not going to have it like fully mixed or done by the end of this session, but let's hear what we made from the beginning, and then I think I'll probably hop off as I got to eat some late lunch and get ready for my sessions. If you're curious about my music or booking me or anything like that, find my contact info and links to all my stuff below. I love connecting with all you out there, and I hope this stuff helps any of you out there better understand music or feel motivated to make music or just entertained at seeing stuff come to life. So here it is. Thanks for hanging out. That could be kind of our outro. So awesome. I'm not exactly sure what the frame rate. So like hopefully this did not go down while live. Once again, I need an assistant in here. Any of you that want to live in San Diego and work for free till the channel is monetized, let me know. I'm just kidding. I will balance the tasks while I can. But once again, my name is Andrew. You will find my music linked below, ways to contact me below. Help me out and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to subscribe. Let's get it to 1,000 subscribers, because then YouTube will give me probably $1 a month or something like that, which will go a long way to helping feed the family. But hopefully 1,000 leads to 10 to 100. Let me know what I can do to improve my content, and thank you for hanging out. I'll see you next time.